The judge may be out of order in court, but he spoke the hard truth. And these are the truths that we do not want to hear. And sometimes we speak past each other because of our loyalty to our political parties. And these political parties will give us, and the media, of course, will give us what they feel we need to hear. And most of the time, it's not truthful what they say, and they will not give us the history, the true history of what has taken place, because they, of course, they want to keep us sometimes ill-informed or uninformed. So and what the judge speaks about today, I think it's very important for us to be able to hear and to listen and to also do our own research and study so that we can be properly informed in what we do. Before we watch a video, please subscribe and hit the like button, as we would love to hear uh, your views as well and your comments below. In the past few weeks, I posted a video that just on the very same issue, and today I just want to clarify a bit and just also make some comments, and then we go out of the system. But I think the issue with regard to what the judge is speaking about is something that is very important for us to hear. Let's listen to what the judge says at the beginning at this in this video.
Yes,
and then we proceed.
yes,
But the problem now, this machine has got stuck.
yes. For
It is
for
not
the
recording.
proceedings of today, yes.
Yeah, it's not recording.
Yes.
Now, before the judge continues saying what he needs to say, I think it's important for us to hear something. That here the judge is lamenting on the issue of what the court system is like, but he's not saying it openly out there. But I think he is bringing out the context of the land. You will see that later, the land and the court system, where we find ourselves uh, in a situation where these issues are not being addressed. The land issue has not been addressed, and the court system is not addressed. And he's the one who's sitting on the bench. And sometimes the backlogs in the court system, where our poor people are subjected to the worst situation, very appalling situations in courts, and the cases stall and stall, and the judges can't do anything sometimes because of what he is addressing at this time. Let's listen.
But the problem now, this machine has got stuck.
Yes.
It
For
is
the
not recording.
proceedings of today, yes.
Yeah, it's not recording.
Yes.
So we're waiting for it to record.
Yes, my lord.
It's obvious Trump is a better machine operator.
Sorry about that. It's funny, but I think the judge speaking the truth here. He spoke the truth about this issue, because it brings us to a place where everything that which we are facing now is because of our current government. Sometimes it's easy for us to blame the apartheid government. But if you look at the courts that we have taken over, and the infrastructure we've taken over in 1994, yes, we may have had some debt in South Africa that the current government had to service or took from the Afrikaans government. But we took a good infrastructure which we just needed to maintain. And the courts today are also a picture of what we have messed up, of what our current government have messed up. And it's difficult sometimes for us to speak about these things. We don't talk about them. But it's good to talk about them, because then it takes us away from just this rhetoric that our political parties just keep bringing to us. The kill the Boer, shoot the Boer issue. That's not an issue that's going to help us as South Africans. What's going to help us as South Africans is when the opposition parties begin to speak to issues that are failing our people, speak to issues that are hurting our people. And what the judge is saying, he may be out of order, but what he's saying is something that's very, very important as to where we come from and what was our hand in the Khoisans in this next part of the video. It speaks about our hand in the Khoisans being displaced in South Africa because we found them here. We like to say that Jan van Riebeeck found us here, but who did we find here as the Nguni people? And that's the truth that I know that I'm going to get a lot of flack from because I am leaning towards the judges, what the judge is saying. But it's the hard truth. And what I've noticed is that most South Africans do not want to speak fair, especially when it has to do with a black person being criticized. We do not want to be fair. We just always take it back to apartheid, take it back to the white man. This issue, current issue, has nothing to do with a white man. This has to do with us. We've been in power for 30 years or more than 30 years. And we need to speak about that honestly. Let's hear what the judge has to say.
And we know what happened in the other country, in Zimbabwe. They chased away all the whites with their suitcases. Now they are paying them back for the land. Like with us here. They say the Khoi and San.
Before we continue, it is true. That's the hard truth. Zimbabwe made a big mistake. Mugabe made a big mistake when it came to the land issue. You cannot take away people's land just because you feel that you want to fix the issue of the past. This is an issue that needs to be fixed, yes, but it must be fixed with much wisdom. We need wisdom in doing that because it is a very sensitive issue. It affects food security. It affects everything in our country. And Zimbabwe is a place that we need to start looking at so that we can learn as to how to implement the land issue, how to implement the land issue in South Africa so that our people may be able to use the land with wisdom and use the land to better their lives. And the judge is speaking into that matter, and he also brings out the truth that we do not want to speak about as to where we come from. Let's continue.
Came here before us.
These are the questions.
And apparently there's some historical truth in that, because there were these drawings, which we found here. We were not artists. We just ate the meat. But then they have drawings of animals, etc., etc., etc. And it's sad to say it, and sad. But we also, in a way, committed genocide against Barwa, the so-called Khoi and San. And we denigrated them. If a person...
Yeah. This is the hard truth, and I think many would not want to hear or want to speak about. The expansion, because the Nguni people, part of the large Bantu migration, we moved southward into southern Africa. And when we came into southern Africa, we encountered the Khoi and San people who were already established in this region. But these are things we don't want to talk about. These are the issues we don't want to talk about. We start making wara wara a noise when we talk about these things. We may criticize the judge for speaking about these things in the courtroom, but he's speaking the truth. Hey, I'm not saying that the judge is correct by talking about these issues in the courtroom, but I think his view that he's bringing out, it is a view that is important for us to hear. That we are chasing white people out now. We tell them, oh, they are cowards. They must go if they want to go. We are doing all of that. But we don't realize that we do not speak or realize that we also had a part and a hand in displacing indigenous people that we found in this country when we came into this land. Let's continue to hear.
And looked at you down. We used to call you Aitim wrong told him. So this problem. Yeah, he played a video for the whole world to see.
I think Dr. Sibande is writing a paper on that
That's all.
subject. Yes. He's writing a paper on land expropriation.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Are you doing that, sir?
You're just messing with him.
Because that topic, I thought it's exhausted. Land expropriation. Why, Mr. Amusipili, you were surprised? Mandela, Sobukwe, Botani, Joe Slovo, Mabida, Sisulu, Tambo. For 30 years, they debated that issue. I know it because I'm sorry to say it, my uncle is Moses Botani. So they debated that issue about expropriation without compensation. Actually, the Pan-Africanist Congress used to say, we'll point them, we'll chase them into the sea. And they came with this compromise, Section 25 of the Constitution. And we know what happened in the other country, in Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah.
They chased away all the whites with their suitcases. Now they are paying them back for the land. So maybe people must just take the view of the senior guys who debated this issue. Can't tell me that Mandela he doesn't have the inkling as to how to solve the problems we had concerning our history. Because these guys, the Afrikaners, they are here for 800 years. Are you aware of that? 800 years. 1648, actually. We normally say 1652. Diego came in 1648 or 2, somewhere there. Ne? 42, ne? So these guys have been here for 800 years. And they regard themselves as Africans. Like the Trumps. The Trumps went to America in the Mayflower, I think 1538, somewhere there. Is that not so? When the British occupied and conquered North America. The English, today they are guys like Trump, for instance. They regard themselves as Americans. And then, of course, there was a genocide of the native races, the so-called Apaches and so forth and so forth, like with us here.
And we'll wrap it up.
They say the Khoi and San came here before us. And apparently there's some historical truth in that, because there were these drawings, which we found here. We were not artists. We just ate the meat. But then they have drawings of animals, etc., etc., etc. And it's sad to say it, and sad. But we also, in a way, committed genocide against Barwa, the so-called Khoi and San. And we denigrated them. If a person looked at you down, we used to call you Aitim wrong told him. So this problem, it's a long held problem. I don't know what's going to happen about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard much of this issue. I think what he's speaking about is the truth that we sometimes don't want to hear. We sometimes don't want to hear this truth, but the truth shall set us free. When we look at how we came in to Southern Africa, the Nguni people, and found the locals, it made it difficult for the resources to be, which means the competition with the resources became even harder and crazier. But at the same time, we, the Nguni people, had basically a strategic military, what they call personnel. In other words, we were able to basically displace them. And the Khoisan people and their land and their resources and the grazing became an issue. But we were able to, because of the power of our military, the power of our fighting, we were able to displace them. And that's the truth, good people. That's the hard truth to hear at this point in time. We were able to displace them. And obviously as time went in, the Europeans came in and made the issue even harder and difficult in the 17th century for the Khoisan. They were displaced, and we were also displaced because of the military strength. Now you see that there was a succession of issues or times happenings that took place, but we do not speak about what we did, what the judge is speaking onto, and it's the truth. Now we want to displace the white people in this country and chase them out, just like how they tried to displace us. So these are issues that we must talk about. You can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, we were also partly involved in displacing the indigenous people of this country when we came in here. They lost their land. The Khoisan faced increasing displacement and devastation that impacted them so much so, the Khoi and the San people, because it weakened their ability to resist both the Nguni and the expansion of their colonizer. But the colonizer became stronger, the Ngunis on one side, so they basically became almost extinct. Yes. If you have to call out and try to find the Khoisans in KZN, are they here? If you have to try and find the Khoisans in the Northern Cape or in the Eastern Cape, are they there? In Gauteng, are they there? No, they are not there, because they have been pushed into and displaced, because we were part and parcel of that, even though we were displaced with them eventually. Because remember, in essence, the Nguni migration and subsequent interactions with the Khoisans, combined with the impact of the European colonization, led to the significant decline of the Khoisan people or population and their traditional way of life. But we found them here, just like how the Europeans found us here. So these are issues that we must be honest about. We must be honest about these things. so that we can have an honest conversation. We do not have honest conversations in this country. We are so biased with our reporting, so biased with what we say. Even in many podcasts, we are very biased in what we say. Just because we are black people support a black person, a white person will support a white person, but it's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be speaking the truth and bringing these issues so that we can come together and be able to fight against this government that is messing up our lives and our economy. And in this economy that we are in at this point in time, it is only helping the elite, only the elite. So let us be honest when we speak about these things, especially when it comes to the land issue. If we have to chase someone out of this country, especially the white or the farmers, you know that we're going to struggle. You know that we're going to struggle, not because we are not good farmers as South Africans. Don't hear us wrong. As black South Africans. Not that black farmers are not good producers, but the strength and the resources that have been built over time is with the Afrikaans farmers. And if you chase them out as Zimbabweans did, you are going to be in trouble. We are going to be in trouble as South Africans. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this video and this topic on the comments below. And please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Thank you. God bless.